Good morning. Welcome. Um, so this morning I want to sort of think about the weather and how the weather feels. Yesterday we were talking earlier about how we're taking today because it's not as windy and wet as it was yesterday, and so entering into meditation is always sort of a winding road. Um, it's a settling, but we can settle through any number of channels. Um, the Buddha described the, the the way that we come to our own particular understanding of the sacred is, you know, by choosing one of 84,000 different doors, Dharma doors. And that's just a sort of hyperbolic way of saying, um, you know, we get to where we are in very different ways. And that speaks to the practice of meditation as well. And so, as during our little morning get-togethers, we've entered into meditation by following the breath or by following the body. Um, And another very important door that we can enter is through kind of our emotional tone, that feeling that the heart or the mind or our emotions sort of bring to our experience. And so, with the spring being here and more light, there is sort of sense of moving from a season of cold and hibernation to new leaves, new beginnings. Um, and so maybe if you can, if you're near a window, um, you can sort of look outside. Um, if you want, you can look at the picture behind me. It's a photo of Martin's Pond where I live in North Reading. Or maybe you can sort of reach back in your memory and what it felt like yesterday, because we had some very noticeable weather with the wind and the rain. Um, and with that weather, with that sunshine, with the humidity, the cold, the various, signals to us, uh, we take our cues from nature about how we feel. Um, and so maybe follow you know, that cue this morning. Again, wherever you're taking in your weather, from the window, from the screen, or from memory, just allow yourself to feel what it feels like emotionally. And notice that maybe between the time that we started and now that we've sort of connected to the emotional state that the weather cues in us, that you notice the change. And that's what is interesting to us here, is that we can move from one state to another, um, by following our moods, following our bodies, following our minds. So we use this sort of over emphasized aspect maybe of Buddhism, that everything is impermanent. Um, and we look at that in some ways as being, you know, a way of coping with the world, and that everything changes, and so this too shall pass. But it's also, a message of good news. It's sort of, if there were a Buddhist gospel, um, it could be that, in that no matter how tired we are, no matter how angry we are, no matter how exhausted we are, we can look forward to a change. And where there's change, and where we notice in meditation that we can create that change, there is, hope for peace, hope for contentment, hope for change. And so let's move from one change to another as a way to move in the direction of peace, tranquility, contentment. And so bring to your mind the sort of happiness that comes with just simply connecting with the world around you. Sort of set aside um, a need to respond to the weather in a way that you're always accustomed to. So if it's rainy, you feel dreary and tired. Or if it's sunny, you feel bright and energetic. Or if it's snowing, you feel quiet and reflective. Let's just sort of step back one step from that and notice that there is uh, a very powerful joy and life affirming connection that we have to nature, that and our surroundings, that affords us all of this um, myriad of emotional and physical and mental responses uh, that can lead from one thing to the next, to this always exciting, never know what's coming kind of childlike surprise that's always there for us. Step back away from how you have come to know your response to the world, and step into a childlike innocence of just wonder in a sense of awe at what our senses can bring to us. allow yourself to look at and feel things in a fresh way. Feel the temperature on your skin. Maybe it's a little cold. Maybe it's crisp. Maybe it's um, revitalizing. Maybe it's that breath of cool air that fills the stagnant, uh, humidity of August. Look at the darkness on the back of your eyelids and notice that if you attend to it, truly there's a little sort of light show going on back there. Notice the rise and fall of the chest as you breathe, and not just like, oh yeah, still doing that. That's good. Great. That's necessary to, wow, quite a machine that is keeping me going. There's wonder and contentment, not so much uh, something we have to seek, but there's wonder and contentment if we just let ourselves appreciate it. So that is the change that we can hope for. So with our meditation on emotional tone, let's try to settle into that sense of wonder, that sense of openness to our sensory connections to the world. And then let that settle us, let that calm us, let that draw us to the nuances of a subtler state of mind. And let that wonder discover the different parts of the body and bring healing and energy to the parts of the body that need it. Bring healing and wonder to the parts of the body that could use a little smile. And let that sense of wonder and openness to the world help you discover exactly what you need right now. That small little thing that just quenches the thirst or settles the mind. And as the mind wanders, let wherever it wanders be a source of wonder for a little bit. It's like, oh, I'm thinking about that. And then notice the emotional tone that might be associated with it. It's either you're thinking of, what you have to do next or something you did yesterday. And then notice how that makes you feel. And then see if you can practice that stepping one step back and notice yourself feeling. And what's that like? What does that feel to the body? How does that move your mind? And how can you look at that with a sense of wonder? Now I just want us to sink one sort of level deeper, maybe settling the thinking mind um, downward, maybe bring yourself out of your head and the examinations that we've been sort of doing on our body, on our emotional tone, on our mind. Let all of that settle downward towards the center of gravity. And as the mind sort of flows downward through the throat and the heart, kidneys, and the belly, to just below the navel, feel everything physically and mentally, emotionally, sort of free fall gently with it until it settles right down there at your center of gravity. It's just a ball of energy that is radiating out awareness or warmth, being, just simply being. And if there is an emotion that you might look for, look for contentment and wonder, and then settle back down into the center of gravity. And then just breathe. Breathe from the center. Let go of the act of observing settle into our most natural state, which is just being. And then just go a little deeper. Now we're going to slowly come out of our meditation. Allow ourselves to come back into the room, into the now, into the day. Allow the next inhale to be a little bit deeper. And on the exhale, bring some movement into the fingers and the toes and the spine. Allow the next inhale to be even deeper. And on the exhale, slowly open the eyes. May all living beings have happiness and its causes. May all be free from unhappiness and its causes. May all dwell in equanimity, free from attraction or aversion. And may all quickly find the great happiness that lies beyond all misery. Namo Amitofa. All right. Have a wonderful day. Nice to see you all. Be well.